She hadn't seen her family in over a year. No social media updates, no selfies, no hints. So when she stepped through that front door, 2 weeks before her little sister's wedding, she expected hugs, laughter, maybe even a few tears. Instead, the room fell silent, and her sister, her bride-to-be sister, just stared. Her mouth dropped open, not in joy, not in relief, but in shock. And then she said it. "Are you serious right now? You did this for attention, didn't you?" That was the moment the celebration died before it even began. For a long time, she had been the fat sister, quietly enduring that label like a permanent piece of family furniture. You know the kind? They never say it to your face, but it's always there. In the birthday pictures, where you're made to stand behind everyone else. In the offhand comments from relatives, masked as concern, dripping with shame. She's 28 now, and somewhere between quiet embarrassment and deep resolve, she decided to take her life back. She didn't shout it from the rooftops. No big transformation post. No gym mirror selfies. No meal prep montages. She just changed. Every day, she chose to eat differently, to move her body, to believe, maybe for the first time in a long time, that she deserved to feel good in her skin. And over the course of a year, she lost nearly 100 pounds. Not for a man, not for Instagram, not for some revenge plot. She did it for her. But her family, they didn't know that. They hadn't seen her in person since before the weight came off. And now that they did, now that they were seeing her fully transformed, they couldn't see past their own assumptions. The wedding was just 1 week away. Her sister, the 26-year-old bride, had always been the pretty one, the thin one, the one everyone called beautiful without qualifiers. And maybe, just maybe, she had always liked knowing that, compared to her older sister, she would shine just a little brighter in every family photo. But now, things had changed. This was the first time in their entire lives that the fat sister wasn't fat anymore. And apparently, that was a problem. Her sister accused her of trying to upstage the bride, said she had intentionally waited until now, until the week of the wedding, to unveil her new look. She tried to laugh it off at first. She thought it was a joke, some weird bridezilla moment, stress talking. But then her parents took her sister's side. "You should have told us," they said. "You knew this would be a shock. She's under a lot of pressure right now. Maybe you could have waited." Waited? Waited. To be healthy? To feel good? To feel alive again? It wasn't just her sister. One by one, her relatives started treating her transformation like a betrayal. A calculated move. As if she had dropped 100 pounds just to spite a bride. They made her feel like a villain in her own success story. The subtext wasn't hard to read. You were supposed to stay in your place. You were supposed to make her look better. You were supposed to play your role. But she wasn't playing that role anymore. She had stepped out of the frame, and now everyone was scrambling to rearrange the picture. She had come home early, 2 weeks early. She wanted to help, to reconnect, to be there. But suddenly, her very presence was a threat. It wasn't about what she wore. It wasn't about making a scene. It wasn't about turning heads at the wedding. She didn't want attention. She wanted belonging. And instead, she got exile. She kept trying to explain. "I didn't do this for her wedding. I didn't even know when the wedding would be. I've been doing this for me. Because every time I tried before, it didn't work. And this time, it finally did." But no one heard her. Or maybe they just didn't want to. One night, she sat alone in her childhood bedroom. Same wallpaper, same creaky bed, but everything else was different. She looked in the mirror, not with vanity, but with vulnerability. This body, this face, this version of her, it was new, and it was fragile. And for the first time in her life, she wondered, was she allowed to be proud of herself? Or was she only ever going to be accepted when she stayed small? Not just in size, but in spirit. She thought about leaving, packing her bag, quietly slipping away, letting them have their perfect pictures without her in them. She thought about writing a note. I'm sorry my health makes you uncomfortable. I'm sorry I didn't ask your permission to change. But no matter how she spun it, the truth stayed the same. She had done something brave, and they had punished her for it, because it didn't fit the story they wanted to tell. Weddings are supposed to be about love, about new beginnings. But somehow, this one became a battleground for old insecurities. The bride, her sister, wasn't a monster. She was just scared. Scared that, in the sea of compliments and posed pictures, someone might say, "Wow, your sister looks amazing." And somehow, that one sentence would unravel everything she thought about herself. That's not her fault entirely. That's what happens when we teach girls that their worth is comparative, that beauty is a spotlight, and only one person gets to stand in it at a time. But still, the damage was done. The night before the wedding, her sister didn't speak to her. Her parents barely looked her in the eye. And she had to ask herself the hardest question of all. Did she still want to go? Did she want to stand in that church, wear that dress, and smile through clenched teeth while pretending this wasn't breaking her? She had already lost weight. But now, it felt like she was losing something bigger. Her family's trust, her place, maybe even her identity. So she sat there, the night before the biggest day of someone else's life, and wondered if her own growth, her own healing, was worth the price. She hadn't asked to be a symbol. She just wanted to be a sister. But maybe that was never enough. So, am I the asshole for losing weight before my sister's wedding? You know, it's strange how personal transformation can make the people around us feel threatened. This story isn't just about weight. It's about identity, about the unspoken roles we're assigned in families, and what happens when we dare to step out of them. This woman worked for a year, quietly, consistently, for her own health, her own peace. And when she succeeded, the people who should have celebrated her punished her instead. Why? Because her success challenged the family dynamic. It rewrote the script. Suddenly, the fat sister was the confident one, the healthy one, maybe even the one who shined. And that scared people who had gotten used to defining her by what she lacked. But here's the truth. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow. And you do not need anyone's permission to evolve. If your transformation makes someone else uncomfortable, that's not your fault. That's their mirror. So tell me, have you ever made a positive change in your life only to feel punished for it? Have you ever dared to grow and watched people you love try to shrink you back? Share your story in the comments. And remember, sometimes being the villain in someone else's story means you finally became the hero in your own. This is AITA Story Vault. We tell the stories that make you question everything. Until next time, stay true, stay strong, and and never apologize for becoming more of yourself.